everyone, welcome to the Alexis Small Show. We have a guest speaker today from my favorite 90s sitcom, The Martin Show. Not only is he an actor, he's a motivational speaker, youth activist, and a director. This summer 2012, I had the honor of interning with him on one of his latest projects. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. Thomas Ford. So can you tell us how long you've been in the industry?
Wow, how long have I been in the entertainment industry? That's a very good question because I'm an old man. In 1989, in 1982 was my first professional play. I was a senior in high school. In 1989 was my first professional film, Harlem Nights with Red Fox, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, a ton of other amazingly talented folks. 1989 was also my first television series. So I've been in the industry as far as union work since 1989, which is about 23 years now.
Okay, so who inspired you? Why did you choose to become an actor, motivational speaker, activist?
Wow, who inspired me? That's a good question. Why did I become an actor, or motivational speaker, all that? I believe that we don't choose our destiny. I believe that our gifts are our ministry. So many are called, but few are chosen. I don't think it was something I chose, it was something I was assigned. This is my assignment. So I believe that's why God has given me favor in my career and to use my gifts for good, not evil, so that I can help inspire, empower, and uplift others.
Okay, so you know how everyone loves The Martin Show. What was your first reaction when you got your part on The Martin Show?
Well, first reaction was, of course, excitement. Martin and I were very good friends. That's why Tommy and Martin are only two who have our real names in real life. We just took our friendship from real life to television. So my first reaction when I first called Martin, he called me and said, "Listen, I got a new television series, man, and I want you to be a part of it." I said, "Well, I just got my own series also." So I talked to my agents, and my agents were like, "Listen, I saw this Martin Show stuff, and it's terrible. It'll never make it. It's horrible. So let's go ahead and do this, make the money, and then we'll go do your show for Disney." Like, okay, I'm new at this. I'm trusting my agents. So again, things happen the way they're supposed to happen. So my first excitement, my first reaction was excitement. My first reaction was the excitement, not only for the opportunity to do what I've always dreamt of doing. Martin was like my third television series, so I had been working before, but none of them would really stick. They were never big shows. But it was even more exciting to be working with a good friend of mine in Martin and the cast members who became family.
That's cool. So what is your most fondest memory about working with Martin or The Martin Show?
I think my fondest memory is working with a group of people who I am fans of. So not only was I excited to work along with Martin Lawrence and Tisha Campbell and Carl Payne and Tashina Arnold, I had watched a big fan of the Cosby Show, so I used to watch Carl as Cockroach.
Oh yeah.
Tisha had done so many movies with Spike Lee and so many other folks, so I was a big fan of hers. And Martin and I were great friends. I used to follow him all over the place, watching him do comedy. And then we also at one point had some others who were attached to the show, who were, the guy who played Stan on the show, who was an amazing comic you should watch on Saturday Night Live. So it was just wonderful to not only work with talented people who I had a good time working with, but I was also fans of theirs as well.
Okay, so what is the pros and cons
Of flies all over you?
yeah. What's the pros and cons of being an actor and a director?
The pros and cons of being an actor and director at the same time?
Yeah.
Wow. The pros of being a director in any film and an actor in any film are very different. As an actor, my role is to do the homework I can to study my character so that I can portray the truest character, the most honest character that I can. and how my character relates to the story, the arc of the story, and the interpretation of the director and the writer. As a director, it's a little different because my vision is to look over the whole project and everyone involved in that project. So to do both is very challenging because as a director I can sit back and watch the performances, I can watch the monitor, and I have my notes to understand where we are in this story and how this scene is supposed to go. The pace of this scene, the intensity of this scene or the lack thereof, and how it relates to the complete story. As an actor, directing is more challenging because my focus has to be at that moment, at that time, in that experience, in that space. So it makes it difficult. I have to have a crew and a group, a team that I trust tremendously to say, listen, I can't watch me and perform as me. So it requires a lot of homework in the beginning to understand and have a plan of what this scene needs, what it requires as an actor, but also as a director, I assign my team to say, okay, I need you to look to make sure that all the shots, the lights, and there's no shadows and things like that. I need you to look for to make sure that I have the right line. So I have a team behind me who really helps to support, but it isn't easy at all. It's a very challenging task. But I always surround myself with folk who I trust to make sure that they can help support and watch my back.
Okay, so I noticed that you said it's challenging. So what advice can you give to future actors and film directors?
The best advice that I can give to future actors and filmmakers: study. No, take every opportunity you can to observe, to watch, and then to execute. So often we want to start at the top and work our way up. And it requires that we take a lot of time to go under the tutelage of people that we respect, and we are doing just exactly what I want to do, and find mentors. And if you can't find a mentor, find a filmmaker or an actor that you respect and watch them, study them, try to duplicate many of their choices, or at least get an understanding of why they're making the choices that they make. For me, I'm a physically large guy, and there are not a lot of physically large. The average leading man in Hollywood is 5'9", 5'10". Sometimes as short as 5'8". I'm 6'4", so it makes me look like a giant. So I had actors like James Earl Jones, like Lou Gossett Jr. These were gentlemen who I watched because they can be a big guy and not be a bad guy. You know, they knew how to still be intelligent, smart, intellectual actors and make great choices. So when I look at the Paul Robinsons and I look at the James Earl Jones and the Lou Gossetts when I was coming up, I studied their work, and that helps me to go, okay, I can physically be a big guy and not have to be the big dumb jock all the time or the thug all the time, because these were smart, articulate, talented men who were in leading roles.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I know you have new projects that's coming out. Can you give us a little more details of
No.
what it is? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Lots of really wonderful things going on. I spent the last 2 years in Atlanta developing and creating new shows for television and film. And I just signed a deal with Flavor Unit, which is Queen Latifah's company, for the options of television shows that I've developed and created or directed. And I just just signed my first film deal this week. Just accepted an offer, so that I'll be, thank you, doing a slate of films with a Lionsgate release. Just finished directing and producing a film that, in fact, you came and worked on Conflict of Interest, which I'm really, really excited about. We got some distributors who are wooing us because they're excited as well. So there's so many amazing things happening. I just thank God for the opportunities that He is opening up for me.
Thank you so much for this interview. I really appreciate it, and I hope to do more work with you in the future.
Well, I thank you so much for the invitation, and I encourage you to keep living your dream and your vision. You did such an awesome job with us working in our production, and we invite you to be a part of many, many more.
Thank you.